This is the Conscious Radio Network.
All right. It's working this time. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network and this spaceship we call Earth. We are joined this evening with Keith Anthony Blanchard, the founder. You found the foundation, correct?
I'm still looking for it, but I'm finding it.
Right on. Keith is the founder of the Center of Light Foundation, and he also has a radio show called the Center of Light Radio. And you can find that on the YouTube. And you also got a website for that, which we will bring up during our discussion. But we were going to have you on live during our weekly seance, and then you had an unfortunate crash on the computer, and everything just, oh my God. So
yeah, fun process, I'll tell you.
Oh my gosh, it's fun and not fun. It just, it takes us into places we don't want to be. But places we do want to be tonight, we're going to discuss trying to find the light of peace through times of darkness. That was our original discussion. So wanted to kind of come back to that and kind of just talk a little bit more about the work that you do with the Foundation and Light, and shed more light on the foundation and what people should know about it, and what is important about it. What should people know? And starting out with history.
Oh, I thought you were asking me a question.
Basically, how did it all start? How did it all start?
The foundation itself is only a greater expression of my spiritual work as a teacher. But the foundation began to start to erect itself a couple and a half months ago ish, when this idea was presented to me. There's a lot of moving parts, but the foundation is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and we have now turned Center of Light into an LLC, which we are now soon to be asking for government grants and so on. But now all these things are happening at such Godspeed. It's amazing. This opportunity of being on Roku, to have a Center of Light Foundation Roku channel, presented itself. So I'm saying definitely within 2 weeks, likely a week from now, we will be launching a channel on Roku. Things are moving. Center of Light Foundation is about you, whoever you are. It's about you, expanding yourself to the greatest possibility, even beyond what you think is possible, beyond what we think we deserve or don't deserve. But once a person becomes self-empowered, it's always about passing the torch. It's always about passing the torch. People do that all the time. You do that as a radio show host. Many people are doing it. But we're talking about upping the game here, turning up the fire, pouring some spiritual gasoline on the fire. It's about helping people, however that is needed, to help people. You want food? We have a shelter. No big deal. You see that wall over there? That wall needs to be painted. Paint that wall. It's about not only giving, so they don't really integrate anything. It's about self-empowerment. You're going to have to empower yourself. You're going to have to contribute. For those who live in a little better, if you will, or lack of a better word, lifestyle, you're at the level where you can, you have the silver membership, if you will.
Yeah.
Some people are still handling the bronze membership, and there's no membership. These are just terms. But the grass needs to be cut. I'm hungry. Fantastic. I'll feed you now. Cut the grass. And so it's about getting a network of people together to provide whatever anyone needs.
Yeah.
My immediate needs are to address world affairs, world problems, hunger, shelter, impregnate people with the truth so they can become self-empowered and no longer need to lean on other people for fulfillment.
Yeah. And this overwhelming seems to be a need from a lot of people now over the last couple of years, probably longer than that, is this need for things that we really don't need, and dependence on a system that is not really you know, there's never accounts for their own actions anyway, but it just seems like we're depending on, it's like they want us to be dependent on them, and whoever them is, people can make up their own definitions.
Yeah, the
And
they,
so
the they,
yep, the
the
they.
them.
Yeah. And yeah, as far as human needs, it's very basic. It is very basic. And it should only be that way, and it shouldn't be that hard. But it just seems a lot of people nowadays are thinking that it's hard. And it's trying to change our mindset, going food, water, shelter. I mean,
Pretty much it.
yeah, exactly.
And you know, I've tossed around, and I even spoken recently to my mentor, who got me on my crawl many years ago. He's now in England, so we don't have the interaction we used to.
Mm.
But we've been going back and forth about helping, and is our helping in certain scenarios, is it really helping at all? Well, Keith, these people are hungry. Yeah, these people may be hungry, and they may die from it. Doesn't mean you're helping,
Yeah.
because this is so karmically layered on many levels. Some may need to come here to experience whatever dire straits they're in, so they can complete the soul contract, which can exponentiate and hasten their arrival to the soul awareness. So I'm offering, you want to come take, you can come take, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's not about, please let me help you. Look, I can help. I don't do any of that. This is your choice. I am working on and been given by the grace of God the provisions to provide people who are truly wanting a leg up in life, but you got to work for it. There's no catch. It's free. You're hungry, I'm going to feed you.
Yeah.
But we want you to become involved with community and helping others. We all lift. This is my foundation. This is the rest of my life. This is the foundation for the rest of my life that I will be operating from.
Wow. Wow. And you're based in, I keep forgetting, it's Tennessee, correct? Memphis.
It is Memphis.
Now, this isn't only local. Do you have any other, like, I wouldn't say, lack of a better word, charters, or that you're going to other states, other regions of the country? And
no, when COVID came in, it changed all that, and I learned to do everything remotely. I am definitely for traveling about,
yeah,
and hands-on, by all means. I would love that, in fact. But for one, they're not going to put this thing in my arm. They're not going to do it. Everybody has their own position on that, so I'm just expressing mine very passionately about where I'm coming from for me. But I know that things are going to open up when this Roku opens up. In a few months, this thing's going to bust open. I know this because of my guru, Swamiji. You've seen pictures of him before.
yeah,
He told me, Keith, you got my blessings within destruction. And indestructible. It will be indestructible, is what his words were to me.
yeah,
So I'm looking forward to the resources to live comfortably, so I can be a teacher to teach people what comfortably looks like. And I don't mean comfortably as in a limitation. Well, I'm just comfortable. That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about living comfortable. I'm in a good space in my life.
yeah, yeah. Without worrying, oh my gosh, am I going to, am I going to be able to have to pay the bills next month, or,
right?
It's just, how am I going to get from point A to point B, or, it's like a self-sustainable society, a parallel society, or a parallel society, sort of.
Very much also the Barta system.
Yeah. A resource-based economy, so to speak.
I still think I've molded over it quite a few times. It'd be a beautiful way if you can create a database and use it correctly and not get wonky and stupid with it. And it's done in fairness across the board. It's the only way it will work. And you put your profile in. I'm a musician. I'm a writer. And everyone's into the system. And I live at 38122 area code, zip code. I need my car fixed. Guy's got a space open. Sure, bring your car over. Then, I don't owe him anything. I just owe the system.
Yeah.
Someone contacts me, Mr. Blanchard, I need a writer. I need an article for. I just do it. But the only way it'll work is if everyone does exactly what they love doing beyond the money itself,
Yeah.
because the Barta system is beyond the money itself. So it's truly about just how can you not be happy doing what you love all the time? Some people are just
Yeah.
fortunate making some coinage with it.
Yeah. And money is the root of all evil. You know, we've depended on it. We've
It
depended
brings
on it.
evil out in us, that's for sure. I wouldn't say it's the
God,
root. We are
got
the
that
root.
right.
We are the
Oh
root.
man. Yeah. Oh
You know,
man.
there is a saying that came across my feed sometime recently. It says, without, let me see how I said that. Without your attention, evil does not exist. Without your participation, evil does not exist. So it's, we can look at everything monetarily, the world, people, and point the finger of evil real quick. And I get it. We're calling a spade a spade. I'm calling this a flashlight. It's not a stick. It's a flashlight. So I'm calling it exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But we got to be careful with these kinds of plays of ideas and words and labeling, because we start losing ourselves and the nonsense. And, when it ultimately comes back to the person themselves, and I take 100% full responsibility for my life. I'm covered. No one has to worry about me.
Mhm.
And everyone does this. The whole thing turns into this going downhill snowball effect, and things begin to change. But I think this is the lesson we're learning. Right now, we're in the wonky space of, are you going to take responsibility for your life singularly? And are y'all, Southern term, are y'all going to take responsibility for your collective life?
Yeah.
If not, karma's going to come back with a bigger knife. But I think the world's getting up on it. I think we're doing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of social changes happening on both sides of the fence, and people are starting to wake up and are understanding there is something better out there. There's got to be, and this is the perfect time for the center of light. I mean, it absolutely. This is the best
And
time.
what you said earlier was about me getting out and about. The Roku channel is going to change it all. I'm going to be reaching people everywhere. I mean, Roku is in every TV around the world now.
Yeah. Now you have a. Let me change the ticker here, because you also have a YouTube channel, and people can find you at on the YouTube channel, Center of Light Radio.
YouTube.com/Center of Light Radio, or you could just look up Center of Light Radio. Absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. And people can also find you. I'll let that ticker go. I talk too fast on radio. I'll get way ahead of myself. I get excited, stumble over myself.
Sure. And most media people in broadcasting, you got to find your stride. It takes a while, and it's
it does. It does.
Right? You got to catch yourself. Remember to pull back, and then eventually it starts integrating, and you find then it's just natural. You come out and you do your thing. How long you been in radio, if I may ask you a question?
Well, I started the show just audio only back in 2015, but I had that very long 4 to 5 year pause, 4-year pause, and then mid last year is when I decided to just go full board, jump back and out of the frying pan and back into the fire. But podcast was really popular, so I was like, let me do video, because I love video. Boy, I wouldn't say that was a mistake. Boy, was I in the fire. Baptism by fire.
I love media. I love video, love audio, but I like them both together.
Yeah.
I can sit here and dice some tape, some digital tape. I can edit out of some stuff, man. I love it. It's fun watching this thing from being raw and then shaped into something like we do in editing. And I just love it. Yeah.
And ever since I started doing this, probably within the last month or two, I've had some people come forward to me, strangers or people, word of mouth, see some of the work that I've done. Maybe not necessarily on this show, but some of the stuff that, I've done outside. They're like, dude, that's awesome. How did you do that? I'm going, I can't tell you. Because that's my recipe. I don't share it. If I told you, then you'd be doing it yourself. But that's not a problem. I'm for hire, so I'd like to do it for other people. And that's the thing, is sharing my talent, sharing my energy with other people. That would otherwise, and I'll teach them how to do it. It's just, I just like doing it. Otherwise I'd be out of a job, so to speak. So, but yeah, it just, I think I get excited a lot when especially on the live shows, on the weekly seance shows. I get so excited because it's a mental thing. You're going live, and then you're just so self-conscious. So, but
yeah, I like the live thing as well, because I for myself, I work off the people that are in the audience.
yeah,
Sometimes they'll say something, and John Doe or Jill Doe decides to make a comment. And I had this presentation planned out, not really in many notes, maybe a bullet point or two, because it's all freelancing for me, just dynamic expression. And then someone decides, without my permission, they're going to change the direction of the show with their comment. It's like, and I didn't see it coming. And I'm like, oh my God, that was just so delicious. I allow everything to unfold and shape what comes about. And sometimes I'm fortunate, probably like you, when we see such magic happen. That's why I like the live shows. Like you and we know this isn't live. This is fine. I love spending time with you, and I love sharing my heart to be the foundation of light that we all have at our center. To stroke that, to massage that, to stimulate that in people. This is what I am. I'm a teacher. I'm a serious light worker. I am here to set the world aglow.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And you are doing awesome work.
Thank you, bro.
That is definitely a blessing to all. And speaking of light, I'm sure that people are asking out there, or will be asking when they see this, is, so how do I find that light within inside me? How do I know? I mean, a lot of people are still looking for that light, and that light, in my opinion, is what you're good at, is what you came back here to do. We wouldn't be on this planet, we wouldn't be in body unless there was a purpose. So it's like, how do people find that?
Well, there's a way I can answer that, but there's also a way I'd like to reroute that.
Yes.
How do you find the light? I'm not sure it's really a finding. It's more of a realizing.
Yeah.
I am the light. 98.6 degrees of it, in fact, in a meat suit. You're not here on this earth. You don't live on this earth. You are up there. Of course, it's really not an up there. It's more of an in here. Because if you weren't there, you could not be here. So it's not like you left there to come here. You are tapped into a divine spigot up there, and there's a current flowing all the way from there to here, projecting itself outward of this body. This body is a movie projector. It's projecting reality out, but it moves through the mind. And if the mind is not a clear one, it's a monkey mind. If it's not a clear one, then the light that lives inside of us will not flow unencumbered. It will flow, but it'll give whatever tone, texture, taste, timbre that we have in the way. Guilt, light moves through guilt. It shows up as guilt, and everybody that makes you feel guilty says, hey, how you doing? This is how it works. So it's not really a finding of the light. It's more of a realizing that you are that light. But as we were talking about earlier, let's keep it simple. How do you find the light? You just said that before you posed a question to me. And as we talked about, when you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. There's no need to find the light. If you're doing what you love every day, you are lit. You get more jiggy wit every day. You can't wait to get out of bed. When you are at home and you've been working all year and you got a vacation coming up. But until said vacation, you hit snooze on the alarm clock 4 times before you get out of bed. I would say you can gauge how many times you hit snooze and equate that to how deeply depressed you are about your workforce life. You go to Hawaii, 6 o'clock in the morning comes. You may, since you're used to hitting the snooze, you may just hit it once just to kind of keep yourself in balance as you come back to the room. Yeah. But your little puppy dog tail is wagging. You ready to go get some surfing on or some hula girls or whatever your thing is.
Yeah.
So being in the situation the graceful, grateful situation of doing what a person loves, the light is on. It's on automatically. So it's not really a finding. For many years back in my day, Paul, I always thought it was about and all this stuff, and that's really cool stuff, and it is very powerful. Until I had a shift for me, I realized that I don't have to do anything, nothing, no work, no spiritual work.
Yeah.
Being joyful is spiritual in and of itself. Loving yourself is spiritual to the hilt. In fact, when we completely love ourselves in this realization process of turning in, the explosion of your own personal spiritual big bang happens. So there's really no work to do. And how do you find the light? It's more of a realizing that we are the it of it, and keep molding and manipulating that and playing with it, smelling it and tasting it and rubbing it and seeing if it has a sound and swallowing it. And we do the same thing again. And it's more of a recycle that creates an expansion and expansion and expansion until there's no more boundary. There's no more body. Though you may live in the body, you don't live in the mind body, which seems to be very limiting. That doesn't let us per se go out and play as much as we'd like to. The mind is a powerful thing. It's every bit as powerful as the spirit. It's so powerful, it will prison the spirit. We think the spirit can do anything. It can. If that is true, how can the mind hold it so effortlessly?
Oh, yeah.
And choke it?
Yeah. Yeah, the mind is the trickster. It can really fool us. Not only that, but our perceptions. I mean, our five senses in and of itself can just screws with us all the time. You know, what is reality? I mean, I've talked about that quite a few times in the past, is like our reality. People are like, well, that's not real. People are like, well, it's not real unless I see it, or I touch it. I'm going, I've seen accounts where our senses can deceive ourselves.
Completely.
Our eyes, our ears, our nose, our mouth, everything. Not
I think
really
the
there.
eyes are the most vulnerable to be deceived.
Oh, yeah.
You know, many years ago, I'm playing music at a club, and we're about to start in about 30 minutes. So I'm walking on stage and tuning my guitar, and it's a very dim lit venue. At this time of my life, I was really big on picking up every coin I found on the ground and saying, thank you, God, right? Acknowledging symbols of abundance. So in this dimly lit stage, I'm walking across. Hey, penny. So I reach down to pick it up. Here's the stage, and I can't get it off the stage. My mind is not understanding why I cannot pick up this penny. We talked about realization. I realized that it wasn't a penny. It was a piece of gum stuck to the stage. But what happened in realizing, so gung-ho my mind was, convincing me so much so to bend down to pick up this non-existent penny that I swore was a penny, as to why I was going to pick it up and say a blessing of gratitude. When my mind cracked, it literally cracked to where I lifted out and got a glimpse, because the mind broke. What the mind was reasoning and believing through the eyes was, I don't understand what is not happening.
Yeah.
And it shattered when I came to the realization. Basically, I got a little closer and saw it was gum because it had a little stickiness to it. But yeah, the mind will tell you things that are not there, that is not there. In fact, that's sort of the mind's job. And we're speaking about the monkey mind, not the clear mind, the one that we use as a catalyst versus the one that uses us as a slave.
Yeah.
It will make you believe everything. That's why we're in the conundrum we are in collectively, because we believe what the mind's been telling us. And we find ourselves here in 2022.
Not to get into the whole conspiracy or political thing, but it seems like that's really big now. It's you know, the convincing of people. I mean, we've been using it for years. The film industries use it, subliminal, advertising, marketing, and sales and stuff. That's what the advertising industry does. They know how the mind works. It's all psychology to trick us, and repetitive. Boom, boom, repetitive. You need this. You need that. You need this. You need that. No, we don't. So
Buy now, obey, consume. Being in the music business, I played casinos for years. In the casinos, has anyone ever noticed, if you ever went to a casino or if you frequent one, there are no windows except the doors to come in, to go out. There are no windows. There are no clocks. They pump oxygen by the tons to keep you up and not wanting to go to sleep. That's why the next day you wake up, you feel like you've been hit by a truck. All the carpet has these wild patterns. These like confetti streamers. It's just
trippy.
All this carpet. I think it's to break your mind, to lock you into illusion. I don't know what it is, but the carpet, they tend to keep it on the colder side. So you and all the machines are tuned to the key of C. All of them. Even all the machines, from the slots to the table slots. What do you call those? You put the money in yourself versus the crank. Those video slots. Anytime music goes off, it's in the key of C.
Wow.
So the C would be, this is the heart. That would be the sacral chakra. You got the root chakra.
And the root sacral.
The key of C would be the sacral. Because B, I think the heart is F as far as notes. Yeah. So that would be B, C, D, E. I'll do some research. I'll let you know.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, it's just literally manipulating the atmosphere, changing
and that's
the
what
atmosphere.
They're doing outside of us as well. They're playing with us.
Yep. So it's amazing how business and government and any establishment out there that has something to sell or has some sort of business tunes into the psychology of the mind. It's just, and it should be easy because we are human. Everybody's human. The people who are doing it are human. And that begs the question, are we all human that are doing this? Maybe, hey, is there a group out there that aren't human that's messing with us, doing all this crazy stuff to manipulate the mind and make us behave the way we are, making us shine away from the light rather than towards the light.
Ultimately, it's our responsibility, singularly and collectively. But if we're going to point a finger so we can understand the dynamic that's happening, there are others out there monkeying around, doing redonkulous stuff, things that you hope you never hear or find out about what it is they're doing. Some people, I can take it because I've been into the darkness of some of those rabbit holes and find some of the most horrendous, evil, to use a word deliberately, things that are happening. And I'm sure they get worse the deeper into the hole you go.
Yeah.
Some people, they've seen enough. No one's asking you to go stick yourself in such a situation to where you feel horrible, because if you express fear and darkness because of some of the things that you've gleaned, that does not serve the planet as well. So you always want to stay in happiness. There's no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. So when you stay in happiness, everyone is a beacon of light. I'm planted in the truth. I'm happy. Some people say happy is mediocre life, but I mean happy. I'm joyful. I'm blissful. I'm living in fulfillment. That's really when anyone is living to whatever level of fulfillment is to whatever degree of a pillar of light that you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, I definitely want to do more shows on not only the light side, but the dark side. Like bringing this back up is, and I'm sure this will bring a lot of chats and a lot of questions later, is on this dark side that, and I keep thinking about it and I keep tapping into it all the time, especially when I get into meditation. I'm feeling that force. There is this force out there, that we're in a spiritual war right now. Not only war on a physical war on this planet, but it seems like we're in a spiritual war with other entities, as well as a physical war with. We got the blinders on right now. We can't see these others out there because we're purposely blinded. But these others out there that are assisting in this, pretty soon might come to a point. I'm not sure if you think the same way or feel the same way, but I'm seeing that we're getting close to that precipice where they're going to be forced to go. And I wouldn't say the war stops, but this dark energy, this dark force that seems to be perpetuating, and just seems like every day it just keeps getting worse.
And it's going to keep getting worse. And it's going to keep getting better all at the same time.
Yeah.
It depends on which side of the fence you ride.
Yeah.
And the worse it gets, the better it's going to get for those who are not plugged into the worst of things.
Mm.
Those who are choosing. You see, because what is behind this is a momentum. The momentum is not evil, and the momentum is not spiritual, not divinity. It's all divinity is what it is. But in the divinity of describing as an evil and divinity, that's not really true. All there is just a momentum behind us. And who we are is what gets boosted into reality. We're living in revelation. All things will be revealed. Everything about us is becoming unmasked. And so there's no duality to the momentum behind us. We are humans, and we can wield the clay better by using the extremes of duality, being human.
Yeah.
Because we use our loves and our pains to help us stroke that spiritual brush. I remember this time it crushed me. And so when we handle other people, we handle them with care. So because we use this contrast to help us launch into greater possibilities. But what's coming down the pike, it's going to be redonkulous. It's supposed to be. And yes, you're not supposed to understand it. That's the point. If we would understand it, there'd be no landmark for growth. Growth happens because of such things. And because this is being pushed to the infinite, to the level of God embodying itself on earth through us, in order for that to happen, everything that is not of said future plan has to be seen so it can be cleaned and pushed away. And so I'm just simply not interested in this anymore.
Yeah.
And this is what's surfacing in everyone individually, as well as the collective. So what is coming is very, very ugly. And what is coming is very, very beautiful. And it really depends on your perception of how you see yourself, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm seeing both sides of that fence. I mean, I'm seeing this, I don't know, it's just ridiculous anger, the stupid and ridiculous anger that's coming out of people for simple crap. It's like, I mean, people are just getting angry out of, I don't know, there's one less Cheerio in their bowl of cereal. Come on.
And so this stuff is, I would say, I'd go as far as to bet that you're probably referring more so now than a few years ago.
Yeah.
That people are getting triggered because of what's happening. That very spirit, that very momentum is bringing this stuff up. So these people who are just getting angry, like you said, for what seems to be no reason, they're not getting angry because of something just happened. They always been angry. This is just coming out from the bottom of the pit.
Yeah.
Everything that's transpiring is triggering them. And so the expression, they're expressing and shouting how they really feel.
There's also been a talk
for that if you're venting, but if you stay in the loop, you will pull yourself further down.
True. There's been talk about this for, God, I don't know how many years, at least a decade. I keep hearing bits and pieces of it. I haven't heard it for a while. I'm not sure why nobody's talking about it, so I'm gonna bring the subject up right now, because they've been talking about the frequency change, that the planet normally resonates at a particular hertz, but it's been increasing and increasing and increasing, and the more it increases, I think it's like at 13 or 14 or something like that. The higher that frequency is what starts triggering these events, these emotions, this anger, this everything, wars, just everything. But wanted to get your take on that. What?
Absolutely. Because if we can look at God or source, whatever is your favorite term for the most amazing infinite potential and consciousness, whatever we want to call that. If the earth is elevating in energy and the earth is reaching that level of consciousness and God is the light, then it's simply going to mirror everything that we are to ourselves. It's all a mirror. You are a mirror to me and vice versa. We are all mirrors. We're all the light shining and shadowing. We're shadowing and shining. And we're picking and choosing who is our friends, especially the ones we don't like. We should choose our best friends to be the ones that aggravate the living shit out of us. Because that's where the work lies.
Yep.
Right? But we take the safe approach. I understand. We find communion and conversation and friendship with people birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
But the earth is not a static frequency. Being a musician, how many people play a song with one note? Earth is a song. Your life is a song. So the earth is not ooh constantly. It's not what it is. It may that tone may be the center point, but you can bet the earth is going ooh. Now it may begin to elevate. When it elevates, it's still going to fluctuate.
Yeah.
When it gets higher, it's not going to just sit here. It's still going to drop in degree, and it's going to go up in degree, and it's going to keep elevating. It's the whole process. It's like a thermostat. You cannot keep your house a solid 72 degrees. You can't do it. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Thermostat works. It goes to 72, reaches temp, clicks off, goes down, or up, depending on how correct. There's always a fluctuation of duality or movement. The universe is always moving.
Yeah.
The only thing that's still is God, and when we choose to be.
True. Yeah. Nothing. That was one of my principles in metaphysics that I wrote about. Is nothing in the universe is static. Nothing. Everything is moving continuously.
Not
You
even
just look at it at an atomic level, for Christ's sake. I mean, freaking, you got an electron just all over the place. It's not going to stay still.
That mountain over there, Mount Everest, it's moving. You can't see it, but like you said, at a subatomic or particle level, there's movement, serious Godspeed movement.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. But
so what's coming down the pike is you're talking about, I like to call it infinite potential. And I understand people are afraid. Look, I'm not excited about some of the things that I believe or feel is going to go down. One in particular does not interest me at all. But I have a strong suspicion, also told to me by Swamiji, God on Earth today, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Can we not change the dynamic? Aren't we the creators? It can. We can change it.
Yeah.
But from the choice that he saw us collectively going to make, because he doesn't see time as next week or next month or next year. He's in the absolution of things and says, it looks pretty good. You guys are heading this way.
Yeah.
That is the unleashing of a warhead. For real. This is not to stimulate fear, anyone. So when we honestly look at, is there a great possibility of a nuke? There is.
I heard that on the radio today on the way into work. A particular leader in the world said, if this particular country does something, the wrath of God will be guaranteed to be released.
That you said, some people often have said, well, we've seen some of the videos. People say that, the extraterrestrials will intervene. They can't. Unless it's somehow written in some sort of universal code script that if this can happen, but the human beings by nature cannot be infringed with on their free will. You cannot do it. It will not happen. That's why God doesn't just, I don't believe in God. Why let people starve? Because it doesn't work that way. You can't just come in and just start changing things, and there would be no point of the existence of humanity in the first place. None whatsoever. And so Swamiji said, someone's going to fire. He said, mark my words. Someone's going to fire a nuke. He didn't say where and who. and the technology is going to grab it and toss it right back.
Oh.
So I'm not any way, shape, form, or fashion wanting this to happen, but it looks likely. So what do we do with something of such a heavy, dark, dense, prophetic nature? You don't do anything with it. You leave it alone.
Yeah.
And you become the beautiful shining star that you are, whoever you are.
Yep. You
That's
become the
all
light.
you can do.
Yeah. We become the light. We collectively gather, and we put our intention to it, saying this will not happen. We massive meditation. I mean, look what happens when there's all these huge mass meditation events and stuff. The frequency changes. Everything gets into. I think they did that. I forgot how many years ago, but I keep reading about it or hear about it. There's some broadcasts that talked about it. There was this like 10,000 people or something like that. All you need is 1%, half of 1%, but 1% did this massive meditation of peace. And they used all these random number generators, and they were, for like over the course of the entire meditation, it lasted, I get a certain amount of time afterwards too. They said the entire crime rate dropped worldwide for a good, like a week or two or something like that. It was the largest drop of hate and crime and all kinds of everything. So we could do that. Our collective consciousness can do that. Do you imagine what it could do with something like this?
Yeah, imagine the generation that's going to be alive on this planet when we start reaching a critical mass of conscious power. Literally, you're going to become Spider-Man. You're going to become Neo. You're going to become Superman, flying around. Okay, this is comics. Yeah, it is, but it's very real. You look at these beings: Swamiji, Sai Baba, Jesus, Buddha, all these avatars with divine favors and divine gifts and power. Though they may not stand in front of you and say, "Hey, let me show you I'm an avatar. Let me disappear so I can make you believe me." That's not what they're interested in. But they can really circumnavigate the entire cosmos and watch a star being born. And a moment's notice, they can do that and this at the same time. They're just in this absolute presence of stillness while everything else in the universe moves around them. It's not like they're sitting here and everything's literally moving like a carousel and they're watching it. Swamiji, if I'm not mistaken, said that the way it works for him, probably in a way that we can understand, said that, imagine you watching that, that Tom Cruise movie. What's that movie? With the psychic, not Vanilla Sky, Minority Report.
Oh, yeah, Minority Report.
Technology, they just grab the screen and they swipe it, screen that's clear and it floats in the air, do these things and you swipe that one. It's sort of he can have anything at his disposal just by calling it up, by calling it the ident of whatever it is he's seeking out.
Yeah. What's scary too is that technology exists. I mean, when that movie came out, that was like 15 plus years ago.
Right.
People were like, "Oh my God." Yeah. Now I'm seeing technology like that. That is not readily available, but is being used. So,
hello, CERN.
Yep.
Talk about technology.
Yep. I heard something. There was read something today on CERN. It was either yesterday or today that they stumbled. There was a force meaning a group of individuals got into CERN, and I wouldn't say took it over, but changed power, and that for the good, and that they're now using CERN to, I wouldn't say change things, but they're trying to speed things up. They're trying to speed the timeline up to get to a particular point in our timeline for the good. So I'm not sure if you heard anything about that.
Not that particular anytime recently, but I understand the play of it. Supposedly, of course, the common things everyone knows, they're trying to open up wormholes. They're trying to find out what happens in these micro black holes. They're popping open like popcorn kernels and trying to get the effects. And this is where the technology is going. It is going in that direction, good or bad. It's the way of things. We look at history and we think the Egyptians had no electrical power, no technology. We think that it's only evolution only happens from that way to this way.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the truth. But technology has gone that way. We can go back even to the stars with star people, the ancient ones. Well, if it's so long ago, how can they have such hundreds of thousands of times of technology ahead of us?
Yeah.
So there's no timeline for technology. It's only when the field is fertile and the season is right. That's what it is. God is stepping to the fore. We can look at the internet. The internet is a manifestation of God. God is all-knowing. The three omnis: omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. The internet is all-knowing. Everything's on the internet. We know knowledge is power. So now we have this power of the internet, the omniscience of knowing everything. Just get on Google and type in.
Yeah.
And knowledge is power, and it's everywhere, omnipresence. So these are manifestations of creators settling on the earth and the human being in a usable fashion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right now, we're using computers and the internet to do it. In the future, we will, when we realize we are the PC, we will use the internet versus the internet. It's all in here, the grid, the divine grid.
Yeah.
And this is going to be your enter button that you press to give a command, type enter.
Yeah. Yeah. That in the day that consciousness can be downloaded, that you can save the time that before you pass over, they can download your consciousness.
Sure. You can bet they're monkeying with that already.
Yep.
But they're transferring souls.
Yep. And and I think Elon Musk, mentioned that on, I think it was a broadcast he had with Joe Rogan or something. He's like, oh, Joe Rogan's like, well, isn't it interesting that, when this happens? And I think Elon went, oh, it already is. It's here. They're doing it.
I like the guy myself.
Yeah.
I like to see he put CERN in his hands.
Yeah.
But I get it. A lot of people are upset with him because he's got all this money. Well, it's his money. And I get it too. I would like to see the billionaires. In fact, if one billionaire started this movement, let's pick on Elon. Let's say it's Elon or Bezos, anyone. Someone says it's a high profile, popular, starts and says, let's say Elon calls Jeff and says, hey, Jeff, we've been having our fun, bro. Let's do something. It would everyone would want to get on board, all these money people, because everybody likes being a part of a new thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's their money. People are upset at Joel Osteen. It's his money. He made his money. He can do with it what he wants. He may not be the nicest guy. He may be, I'm not Joe, anyone. They may be a fraud or a facade and full of horse shit. But one thing we have to give them, they know the art to manifesting digits.
Yeah.
So we may have qualities that we consider more valuable than what they have as money. And that's being a humanitarian and certain qualities. And they may be better at manifesting greenbacks and metal disc. But it's theirs.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if that's the first thing we get, that's the first emotion we get right after envy is we get angry because we envy somebody. That guy's got $1 million. I got a penny, it just, but then you look at it going, well, that's a cool thing they're doing. I mean, you bring a rocket back, you bring one of your rockets back and it lands like it perfectly. Come on.
We're talking about how at least the subject for today is finding the light of peace in a dark world.
Mm-hmm.
With this as the model, 2023 is going to be something completely different. Like we talked about earlier, it's supposed to be different. Truth is not confined to a limiting box. Truth wants to break out.
Yeah.
So when the walls, the castles in the air, come tumbling down in our experience, our reality, what 2023 is going to look like is nothing any one of us has ever seen. Those things may look like gearing up for the new election between
A and B.
And A and B is going to really go at it harder than we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's going to be harder than anyone has ever seen. People you love are going to leave you. in death, in relationship. The world's going to turn over on its head, all meant for us to find our own balance so that no matter the storm that chooses to bitch all at once,
Yeah.
I am Peter, I am the rock. I don't have to like that some of my loved ones were injured or hurt or this ridiculous thing happened by other people. I don't have to like it, but I will not budge. What is the purpose of that if I can't live my life at the fullest? Well, we came here as workers. We came here as warriors for your children and the children after. Because the heaven on earth prophecy can happen to any of us right here, right now, in this moment, individually.
Yeah.
But for it to become a collective decision, that's going to take a little more time. So might as well do the work, because your next incarnation, if you're one that comes back to this planet, you will be one of the manifestations of the heaven on earth prophecy fully lit. And if you don't come back, you've done the work which allows you to express and expand your spirit consciousness so much so that when you cross into the next world, when you leave this world, the heaven you've always known has shifted to another experience of what you never could even dream of possible because of said work. You're moving closer to the Godhead, cycle after cycle after cycle after cycle.
Yeah.
You know, people think heaven is these streets paved in gold and the mountains are 10 times taller and cities made out of crystal. Oh, I'm sure they are. If those things entertain you, and that's something that you fancy.
Yeah.
And you may have never had those thoughts, but when you pass, you just start seeing this stuff. And then you incarnate. And then you do the good work. And then your next passing over and your next heavenly experience is going to be beyond these things that you thought was just so wonderful the first time around.
Yeah.
So there is no limit to the magnitude and the magnificence that we truly are at our essence.
Yeah. Do you see now I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I know how to. I know how to condition myself to be ready for certain things. But for people out there, some of our listeners and viewers, do you have any hints of advice on people out there going, I understand there's something good yet bad coming, and I want to prepare myself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, especially mentally, because when something hits you, you're like, we don't want to freak out. We really don't want to freak out and just go ape shit on everybody or ourselves. But do you think is there a hint of advice on helping people condition themselves before this so said time?
I think that's a really fantastic question, a very well-deserved question for the subject of this show.
Yeah.
How do you condition yourself? You don't. That's the first thing. But I know you're using that as a term to describe.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to use it as a wordplay. You don't condition yourself. In fact, what we want to do is get out of condition. Be prepared. How do you prepare yourself? You don't. How can you prepare yourself for something you've never known? None of us know what's coming. So how can any of us prepare? We do that by being joyful beings. It doesn't require a whole bunch of spiritual work, because in the joy that exists in you, as you start mastering your craft of being forever a forever joyful one, is encrypted with knowledge, information, wisdom, light codes, DNA codes, everything you can possibly imagine. So to sit in steadfast wait for something, the future's gonna be crazy, and I get it. It is going to be. So how do I prepare? That how do I prepare is not going to get you anywhere, whoever you may be. Yeah. Because in the angsting of it, you have this momentum behind you that's going to give you more of, you see, I told you I'm not prepared. And that will be a great downfall.
Yeah.
Just be loving, be with your family, be with the people you care about, do things you've always wanted to do that you never did because you put everyone before yourself. Because until you become the happy one, the happiness you extend to other people is bunk. There's no way to prepare for what's coming. Yeah. Lock in here. Inward is upward, is forward, which is toward your greatest future possibility. Mm. The darkness is the light. The light is the darkness. God is the devil and the devil is God. Sounds blasphemy. Great. Expand yourself out of your bullshit consciousness. I had
Yeah.
to learn this lesson as I'm expressing it to you, many of you, all those years ago, because I had to have someone who I trusted really lay it into me. And now I see it. I feel it. That same momentum that's pushing all of us towards whatever means to an end or to infinity. It has no face, it has no garb, it has no guise. All it knows that it wants you, me, and the we of it all to become the greatest creation of the universe.
Yeah.
There is no creation in the universe like the human being. We are truly special. We are moving towards the pinnacle of creation since the beginning, which never started, to the ending, which will never happen. And we're caught in between this dual reference point so we can find ourselves in the center of it all.
Yeah.
That's the foundation of light. It's you. It's always you. No matter how we choose to deem it, describe it, judge it, paint it, whatever.
Yeah. That's well said. Yeah. Very well said. Man. Yeah. Man. That was that was an hour, right?
I think if I can expand a little more, how do you prepare yourself? I think a disposition one should have or could have work on is to realize that no matter what happens around you, it is intended for your highest good and your soul's development. That way, okay, this big thing coming at me right now, I may not like it, big dog, teeth showing, but it's for my highest good. It somewhat gives us a little more courage to at least to try instead of run, but at least to try.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's I'm curious. I mean, we are living in a very interesting time, and I mean, I always kind of do a lot of I still do a lot of astral projection, but I always catch myself going back in time, going back during the times of, you know, the experiences of, World War One, World War Two, and kind of taking myself back during those times, during whatever so said experiences I did have, in a past life.
I was going to
And
ask, do you think this is somewhat part of a past life? Yeah.
yeah, that it's like, whoa. And I go and I snap out of it. I'm going, oh my gosh, again.
Right.
Again.
Calling you back.
Yeah.
You
it's like,
forgot
yeah,
your wallet.
right?
You forgot your spiritual wallet.
Yep.
My brother,
Yeah.
thank you for having me on your wonderful platform. I recently watched your video about the progress of your show.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, something came over me last weekend. It was like Spirit was saying, do this. Put together a collage of all your shows, or at least one clip of everybody who's been on thus far, and do a time lapse of when I first got on to very recent, and put some sappy music on. I'm going, I can't be that sappy.
Right.
Not like, like Lionel Richie or something, or So found an instrumental, a copyright-free instrumental, and I'm like, that'll do it. And yeah, it brought me to tears a couple times, quite a few times
Very
actually,
nice.
to be honest with you. And
Yeah.
that was the point. That was the point, to bring me back and put the love into creating it, and to share the love for everybody who's been on this show, and say thank you. I love you. You're all special. Let's keep moving forward and spread this love to everybody else, to our audience, and to everyone. So,
And people think that love is this, and it is. That is probably the smallest fragment of what love is.
yeah. Yep.
And we're using that to build relationship with people.
Yeah.
Love for me are three things: acceptance, allowance, and appreciation. I accept you just as you are. Don't even think about changing for me. In fact, I appreciate you because you're quite unique. I'm digging it.
Yeah.
And I allow you to be as you are. In fact, we have no choice in the matter. You don't have to accept anyone. You don't have to allow it. You don't have to appreciate it. You don't have any choice in the matter. They're going to do what they're going to do anyway. That
Exactly.
acceptance, allowance, and appreciation is really for our own development. And it makes it so much easy. Some people have issues with transgenderism. I know beautiful people in every freaking category of humanity. And I love each and every one. And I love their unique quality because there is a drive that lives in transgenders, lives in Republicans and Democrats, and people who live in certain religion. There is a drive that cannot be stopped that lives in each person as to why they are who they choose to be.
Exactly.
So love means I don't have to do anything except take responsibility for myself and look at the beauty that the
Shines from
universe
it.
has created all around me,
Yeah.
including people. That's what love is. It means leave people alone and support them in that which brings them joy. That's what love is for me.
Yeah, exactly. I
Even
concur.
those bad people out there destroying the world.
God, yeah.
You can't really, you can, but trying to get rid of the bad people is not getting rid of the bad people. It's placing you into the fight. For example, I did some work with a young lady this morning in a session, and she's having a tough time with hearing voices, schizophrenia. But she's grounded, but she's flighty in that way.
Yeah.
And as I'm dialoguing with her, this just came out of me. She goes, I want them to go away. I said, I hear you. And I said, you can't make them go away. She goes, and why am I talking to you? I said, you can't make them go away. That's the wrong approach. They're not in your world. You are in theirs. That's why you hear them. You have to step out of that place. So there is a frequency where these beings play in the arena of demons, voices, whatever. They live here. They're never going to not live there. That's the reality. And she submersed herself there. So now she just simply needs to take herself out. Because we always want to point the finger. You need to go away and leave me alone. So these bad people in the world, killing people, starting wars, hungry, all that stuff. Of course, we would like to see that go away. But it's not going to work by saying, stop, stop, stop. They're going to be. Nothing in the universe wants to ever not exist. And bad people want to exist as well. And so instead of telling them to quit, like I mentioned with that young lady, we have to elevate out, lift out. We support each other in lifting to the next earth vibrational frequency, to the next frequency. And then they simply disappear and they can't see us anymore. But in so doing, the part of us that was in the low vibration is still there. We just not there as the spirit. We're in another harmony of vibrational reality. Because like I said, when you leave there to come live on earth, you don't leave there to be on earth. You are still there. You're projecting yourself here. Yeah. Likewise, when we exit, it may look like to some people that you die, but Abraham Lincoln is still alive somewhere in the universe. He's alive somewhere in the universe. So when we exit this reality, this parallel of earth, those people who are still in their experience sees Paul, sees Keith, and we see each other, and we still think we're trapped in the matrix.
Yeah.
We're lifting ourselves to the consciousness of a deeper truth of who we are and where we are and how we play and engage.
Yep. It's a wonderful playground, isn't it?
Infinite.
Yeah. Whew. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on again. Thank you for your time. And again, for anybody out there, this is your first time watching this show or tuning in, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be redoing a lot of our website stuff, so over the course of the next 2 weeks. But at the same time, don't forget to check out Keith Anthony's work on his website, which is the centeroflightradio.com. Facebook, Keith A. Blanchard, or check the show out on the YouTube channel, Center of Light Radio. And
and feel free to join the foundation page on Facebook, Center of Light, Facebook.com/Center of Light Foundation. It's moving very fast.
Heck yeah. And stay tuned to you guys on Roku.
Yeah,
You'll
Roku's
have
coming
your
up soon.
own Roku channel. Heck yeah.
Thank you, Paul, for being so generous with your platform and allowing me to speak my heart.
You are very welcome. And thank you again. Much appreciated. Namaste, my brother.
Blessings, brother. Be in
You have a
touch.
good one.
I look forward to it.
All right. Y'all take care. Good night and good evening.